Sorry about that. I had to handle the dog. The dog was barking like a mother. What's going on, everybody? Covenant Dip coming at you guys with another one, guys. How's everybody feeling today? Decided to come on camera. Like I said, guys, as you can see, the event has not started just yet. Or did it? Let me see. I actually have it paused. Let me see. Refresh. Okay, almost started. Can you guys hear the audio? Let me know if you guys can. Live watch party. If you guys, this chat's gonna be chaotic, guys. So definitely feel free to chat over here if you guys want to. I'll be tuning in with you guys, listening, and also you guys know what I'll be doing in the background also, guys. So I'm here to chat, guys. And I'll pop in and out from both, depending on what visual is better. You know what I mean?
Hey, what's up, Wolfpack? What's up, everybody? How we doing? Friday. Everybody feeling it, I hope, in anticipation of this AMA. So as you guys know, we've been super busy putting together some stuff. So this AMA is going to be very to the point, very practical. We have a lot to go through. So we're going to try and move things on and along as quickly as possible so we can keep in mind for your guys' time. So it'll be very informative. So we're just going to kind of jump right into it. We put in a business plan and a model, and we spent a lot of time putting together a format to be explaining on what we're trying to do and what we want to do and what we've achieved and what we want to achieve. So with no further ado, we got MK and Gabe on NAM as well as here. We're trying to get NAM in the minivan. Looks like MK just crawled out of a bomb shelter, but we're good.
All good, man. How's it going?
Good. Probably what, 1 a.m. for you?
No, it's at 10 p.m.
Not bad. Okay, so we'll see by popular demand if we can get NAM in a minivan. But until then, we're going to go ahead and move forward. We're going to start this presentation again. We're going to try and keep it very informative, and we'll try to push through a lot of things as we can to make sure that we're not taking up too much time. But we will be doing several more, from now on, as much as possible. So if you bring up the slideshow, we'll get going. So good. So the presentation that we're going to be putting forward today, of course, is our past and what our future looks like, and address our liquidity. So we have the Saitama Year 2 business plan that we're putting forward. There's NAM, the beautiful mug. Next slide. So our project outlook, as you guys know, we deployed a fair launch May 30th. It was a deployed contract that we put out, that the original deployer put out, and us as the developers. It was a true fair launch community-driven token. They renounced it, and myself and the other developers kind of took it over. So from that point on, we moved forward to a more professional setting, generated the Saitama LLC, We had our lots of ups and downs, right? We had some huge success in the beginning where we hit a 7.5 billion diluted market cap. And we pretty much set the standard for DeFi moving forward and what we wanted to do with it. So we've accomplished quite a bit in the last 12 months. And what we're going to be doing in the next 12 months is going to be monumental and changing even more and continuing to push the envelope to greater lengths. So that's kind of a little bit of a recap, right? I mean, most of you guys have been along for the ride. For those of you who are just new, you guys are at a good time because we got a very bright future ahead of us. We're going to kind of talk a little bit about that as well. So relock LP, what are our options, right? Relock LP in V1 or move to an upgraded V2 contract. So that's what we're going to talk about today, as well as some other options, what we're doing and some different things, roadmaps that we're putting out for the next 12 months. So that's really it. I mean, there's a couple other small, minute options out there, but that's pretty much it. Apples and oranges, right? Relock V1 or migrate to a V2. So Saitama V2 pros. There's a lot, really. I mean, we just added some of the few on here. Add security, multi-sig, ownership of LP. As you guys know, the original deployer has the control of the LP. So the security issue for us is not having complete control over it. So migrating to a V2 and a multi-sig function gives us full control of the liquidity moving forward. Flexibility, update some of the contract as needed. So being able to manipulate with certain aspects of it to really configure to our roadmap and our ecosystem. Alter some of the tokenomics. And leave the meme category, right? We want to get out of the meme category by reducing the supply, whitelisting, centralized exchanges, and all those good things. So option A or B, right? Relocking the liquidity, some of the pros. It takes kind of the edge off, right? It gives a little bit of a sense of calmness of the community. Folks are maybe worried about the liquidity being unlocked, what's going to happen. Just by relocking it just kind of mitigates that a lot. But it, again, continues to handcuff us, right, if we continue to do that. So if we relock it, we just have to keep relocking it. And so that's kind of the pro on that, I guess. Same tokenomics contract from launch. Nothing really changes. All you just do is relock the liquidity. So next slide. So new cycle begins. What we have chosen out of those two options is we are going to migrate to a V2. We are looking at our current contract, our roadmap, and there has been a lot of back and forth with the developers, with the deployer, with our tech team, and the community as well. We want to kind of get with everybody and see what that looks like. And we had to really put everything down on paper and figure out how we can really push this to the next level and what we wanted to do with it. So as we approach year 2 for Saitama, a lot of the different things that we have set forward on our roadmap coming up and the things that we want to do, the V1 contract is just not really sustainable to what we want to do. And we would eventually have to migrate to a V2 anyways. So as opposed to doing it now or 6 months from now, it's better to do it now as we're kind of in the middle or at the tail end of a bear season. It makes the most sense. So now we can get everything migrated. We can have it the way that we want and run into this next bull market and really capitalize on it. So that's kind of the plan. As you guys know, we've done a lot, and the things that we want to do with our V1 contract and upgrading the original contract, we've been having to work around a lot. So this kind of saves us a lot of time moving forward. Now that we have a V2 and we're migrating it, we don't have to do workarounds. We can really manipulate the contract now to really make it malleable to all the things that we want to do moving forward. So the new cycle begins now. To upgrade the Saitama project, making it stronger, more sustainable for the road ahead. As I mentioned, we have so many things that we're working on that are in the pipeline. This V2 contract is very unique. It's very intricate, and it's been handcrafted to exactly what we need it to do. And we'll kind of dive into what that means for each different portion of our ecosystem and how it plays a pivotal role. So what we're going to be talking about on the call today, why is a V2 beneficial? What our proposed tokenomics are, what our proposed circulating supply, how it supports the holders, what our migration plan is, our next steps, do some Q&A, and we'll do a little ecosystem recap for everybody. So that's what we're going to be focusing on in the next 45 minutes or so, is kind of telling you guys what that is and what it looks like. So why is V2 beneficial? Added security. We touched a little bit on it earlier. The added security obviously gives us full control of the liquidity, doing a multi-sig wallet function with the original deployer. So not just one person has control of the liquidity. That means that every single person in the development team has to sign off on anything that we do with the LP. It will be relocked after we do the migration, so there's nothing that can stop us from that. But when it does unlock again in the future, no, not one person can control it. The entire team does, and then we can go from there. Oh, go back one. Fit to face the future. As I mentioned, the contract itself, we've molded it to really be adaptive to our ecosystem, our roadmap, and all the things that we want to do. The contract will be able to sustain that. So, and again, sustainable business. Right? It's about being progressive and taking the last 12 months and learning from it, making alterations and modifications to sustain business practices moving forward. And that's always been the goal, is to migrate this from a meme token to an actual functioning utility token. And this is the first step to get there. So CEX friendly, we're going to be talking about that a little bit now, in the future as we progress in this conversation, and talk about what that means for centralized exchanges. A hotter burn mechanism, which means we'll still have the ability to burn, but it makes it much more lucrative. And meme no more. More importantly, right? Get that ENU out of here. Get that massive circulating supply diminished. These are things that we'll talk about a little bit more as well. But we want to finally sever the ties from that dog ENU category and put us into the ballpark with the big kids. So control the liquidity, and we're just going to kind of talk a little bit more on those items. As I mentioned, controlling the liquidity is really big. It's not only for security, but for us, but also for you guys as investors and holders. We want to be able to allow you guys the comfort knowing that this liquidity is always under control and is secure through that multi-sig function. And if you guys aren't familiar, a multi-sig wallet means that you cannot remove or do anything with the funds without at least 2 signatures. So we'll have multiple signatures on that wallet, meaning most people in the development team will require like 4 or 5 signatures just to touch any of the LP. But it'll be relocked anyways. But when it does unlock and we go to relock it, it'll require multiple signatures. So not one person has control over anything. And this is going to be with everything, with the marketing funds, with the burn wallet, all that stuff. It'll all be consistent multi-signature wallets. So not one person, has control, which is important. So anytime you have a business, you want to have checks and balances, and you want to have different layers of security. So that's what we're initiating. The adaptive to future use cases, right? So as you guys know, we have a centralized exchange that we're launching. We have, our SATA Pro coming, our staking mechanisms, our play to earn games, the FANG platform, our metaverse. These are all things that we want to integrate into our ecosystem. And the current V1 version, like I said, we're trying to do a lot of workarounds with our current contract, and it's doable, but again, it's just very time consuming and it's not very conducive to business. So we want to take this opportunity to make it more streamlined, to make it more professional, more sleek, and more attractive, right? And how we do that is having a smart contract that's fully functional to not only allow these things to perspire and allow them to grow organically, but make them more functional all around. And there's a lot of things that go into creating a smart contract that you really need to look into, right? Because it's all about lines of code and how those codes interact. And this is something that we've constructed the smart contract to do. So liquidity and funding tax. So as you guys know, and we'll touch on it a little bit, for the last 12 months, myself and the rest of the developers have been funding Saitama out of pocket. And we talked about distilling what that number figure is. And we've kind of generated a rough estimate to be around $20 million. So for the last 12 months, myself and the rest of the development team have injected close to $20 million into Saitama. If it's liquidity, marketing, development, creating all the different features, our gaming, Saitama, our overhead projections, our cost analysis, everything that's come to fruition over the last 12 months and part of the development process gets to be around that much. So we do, like any other business, have overhead costs that we have to supply for. We have several people working with Saitama, whether they're engineers, whether they're content creators, everything under the sun, it all costs money. So we've been really cutting ourselves short the last 12 months in what we can do because of that. We don't have a problem injecting these funds to keep the train moving. But at some point, right, just to be a successful business, you have to do a cost analysis and look at what your projected overhead is versus your projected revenue. And when those numbers don't even out, you got to do something, right, if you want your business to be sustainable. So part of that is injecting a liquidity and funding tax to our smart contract. And this will open up a lot of doors for us to do more things and be more proactive and push this thing to the levels that we want it to go. CEX friendly. So we are under NDAs with some major exchanges, and they want to do our V1 contract. They said they can, but it's difficult. So I'm going to kind of explain a little bit why that's difficult, because we've received some feedback, and like, well, we can, right? We can do your V1 contract for these top tier exchanges, but they require multiple blockchain calls. So in order for us to mitigate the multi-blockchain calls, we can whitelist their wallets, their hot wallets. Right now, because the contracts were announced, we can't whitelist any wallets. So the current exchanges we have, every single transaction that occurs on the blockchain, whether it's sending tokens there or withdrawing tokens from the exchange back to a hot wallet, you get hit with that tax. So the centralized exchange, then to rectify that, they have to increase their fees just to cover those costs. So a lot of these tier one exchanges, they actually do multiple blockchain calls just to get your tokens in and out. So for example, the tier one exchanges, if you have a X amount of tokens on Binance and you want to send them to your trust wallet, they have to do one blockchain call to confirm, and then another blockchain call just to send them. So if you have a non-whitelisted wallet, you're basically doing two blockchain calls. So those tokenomics are hitting twice, and the centralized exchange is footing that bill, or you guys are as the user. So having this ability is really much more sexy, because you're initiating zero blockchain call, you're initiating that tax through a whitelisted wallet, and it's much more lucrative for everybody, right? So it's kind of a turnoff. Again, so being under advisement, right, say we can utilize a V1 contract, but we recommend a V2 launch just to make things seamless and make them run smoother. So that's also played a lot into our decision to migrate to a V2. So the hotter burn mechanics, we're still we feel like we've, not only us, but all of us, right, have done quite a bit in a short amount of time, right? Burning 57% of the circulating supply, which is big, right? We went from 49 to 57 in 12 months. So when we deploy the V2 contract, we're going to stay with 57% of total circulation burned, because we don't want to go backwards. So you guys have all played a major role into burning that many tokens. So we're going to take the exact amount that we've burned to date and migrate them over to the new burn wallet. So we're not losing any time, and we're not losing any of that momentum on the circulating supply replenishment. So the hyper burn mechanism is obviously still in place. There's a automatic feature that's going to be sent to a multi-sig burn wallet. And we'll talk about a little bit more how that interacts with some of our rankings, and what that looks like as far as the burn mechanics go, and how they kind of are going to be institutionalized in there. Meme no more. I talked about it a little bit. We're going to be removing the INU officially. I know that we have done it on our social medias and websites and all those things. But on our smart contract itself and on Etherscan, we can't go in and change that until we modify it and change it to a V2 contract, so where we can remove the INU completely, right? Where it will be either Saitama LLC or a Saitama token. But having that INU removed is kind of the last step in the process of taking us out of that meme category or dog category and putting us into a true utility token. So also the supply, and we'll talk about this a little bit more too. So right now our current circulating supply is 100 quadrillion. We're reducing it to 100 billion. So all those zeros are going to go away, which really, those zeros are traditionally a meme coin, right? When you look at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 zeros, that's a meme coin, right? So we're getting rid of all that. We're drastically reducing our circulating supply. So we'll go over our new tokenomics and supply now, what that looks like for our upgraded contract. So our proposed tokenomics in the contract that we built is a 5% total tax, burn mechanism 1.25, project funding 1.75, distribution, and liquidity. So what we haven't had in the past are two of these things: the project funding, and the liquidity. So as you guys have noticed, there's a lot of different attributes to the liquidity that really could benefit us. So for example, now our current Saitama application, liquidity being an issue, we've had to inject the liquidity ourselves. So having this ability, we can take a 1% per transaction of LP and move it over to our Saitama Pro and also into our centralized exchange for us to create those pairing options. And also, of course, more importantly, or just as important, is the 1.75% for the project development. How this kind of compares to the rest of the market in general, we have Saitama V2, which is 5% total, 1.75 regular burn events is normal. A lot of other tokenomics that we've seen, and then we actually ran quite a bit of analytics on this to come out and figure what our percentage should be. We didn't just throw darts at a dartboard. We did a lot of research and ran analytics on it, and we've seen a lot of up to 18% or more. And we noticed that anything really after 5-6%, the volume really decreases, because when you start hitting people with more than 6% tax, they're less inclined to invest because they're losing so much on both ends. So the analytics that we ran shows us that that's kind of the sweet spot, right around 5%. So that's the number that we went with. And again, reflections. I see that on someone ran a question real quick. Yeah, everybody, you're still getting reflections. Everybody's going to get reflections still, same amount. So our reduced supply is 100 billion tokens. Circulating supply is going to be 43 billion approximately after the burn. As I mentioned, we're still keeping that 57% burned. So the entire circulating supply will be around 43 billion tokens. So support and migration. What is our plan? How are we going to do this? All right, this is what we'll talk about. So we have a pre-migration phase that we're in right now. We've actually, and the first real step to this proactively is this AMA now. But I wanted to emphasize the fact that we've actually been working on this for several weeks in tandem with some other options. So as we've kind of come to the terms that this is what we were ultimately going to do, we wanted to start the process while we were making a decision, because this process in itself does not happen overnight. So we've actually proactively been starting the V2 migration process for several weeks, just in case it is the option we chose, which it is, because you can relock the liquidity and it takes 2 seconds. But if you want to do a V2 migration, it takes months. So we started the process a while ago just so we could be ahead of the game. And now we're bringing it to you as an actual proposed option to what we're going to move forward with in the future. So we're in the pre-migration phase now. And there's a lot of things that we've been working on that we'll go into detail here on this call. Post-migration, we actually have a dedicated Google form that we're going to be putting out and have access for everybody. It has a list of the questions and formatted that's very user-friendly. You guys will be able to download this Google form, inject your wallet ID, your question. If you have an issue, you put it on this Google form and email it to us. That way we have a team of people that can go through this document one at a time and make sure that we're rectifying each situation one by one chronologically. And of course, we have mods and admins and all that stuff. No, I'm sorry, you can go ahead. But we have a lot of people in place to really make this as smooth transition as possible. So here's kind of our roadmap for steps of us moving out of our V1 as we move into the V2. We've already created the V2 contract where there's a few things that we're kind of finalizing on that now. It's on testnet. We're actually doing a pre-launch audit. So the smart contract itself will already be audited before it hits the streets. We do plan on doing a CertIC audit after the launch, but they take months and we don't have time for that. So right now we have a tech rate audit that we're doing. And that's we've already had that done. So we have already deployed it on testnet, had this the tech rate audit done. The next phase to where we're at is we're going to engage with the coin tracker platforms, CoinGecko, CMC, all those, and make sure, let them know, like send them our revised contract so we can have everything done and completed and updated prior to the migration and prior to the liquidity movement. The Saitama B2 deployment on the mainnet. So what we'll do is we'll deploy the contract on the mainnet and test it out, make sure it's good. There obviously won't be any LP in there, so you can't trade on it, you can't buy it, can't do anything with it. But we have to put it on the mainnet to run our final checks and audit system to make sure that it's functioning the way that it should. So from there, we can do our CMC and DEX tools, CoinGecko, and exchange updates with the new contract. So when you do a V2, you have to notify all the centralized exchanges for one that you're doing a V2 contract, and then airdrop the tokens to them so they can create the pairing, and it can just be a smooth transition from one to the other without any hiccups. So then let's strengthen form campaign, social media. So we'll host multiple AMAs and we'll put a lot of information out to you guys between now and then. And then after that, what we'll do is we'll stop trading on the day of. We will stop trading for roughly 12 hours and we will remove liquidity from L1. We'll do all the airdrops. We'll migrate the LP from V1 to V2, make sure that all centralized exchanges have their airdrop tokens, make sure all the holders get their airdrop tokens, and then we'll open up trading and we'll resume roughly about 12-hour break. The next portion of that is we will take a snapshot of every single holder the minute that we halt trading. So this is the best way to do. So we'll halt trading. We'll take a snapshot of every single wallet and every single coin value, and then we'll airdrop every single person their tokens. Every single person will get it. But
for free.
For free, yeah. No, this is no cost to anybody. We're airdropping and we're funding all this. So
not for free for them, because we developers are paying for
them. Yeah. It's like, we're doing the airdrop, don't worry about it. We're covering. But you won't have to connect your wallet anywhere. You won't have to go through a D app. You won't have to do any of that stuff. Essentially, you're gonna go to sleep with a V1 and you're gonna wake up with V2. Then it's gonna be just as seamless as that. So what we'll do is we'll airdrop all the holders, all the centralized exchanges. We'll make sure that everybody's received them, and then we'll review it and make sure it's all good to go. And then we will add LP to V2 and open up trading on that way. So part of this is, and what we're gonna do is having the airdrop tokens in there and having CMC and CoinGecko already updated. The ticker will already be there. The logo, we're also making a new logo. Our new logo will be like in your Trust wallet. Your coin value will already be there. It'll all be set, ready to go. Like literally all you got to do is close your Trust wallet or MetaMask or Saitama, open it up, boom, tokens are there, dollar amount shows, new logo, then I'm done. And then we're actually creating a new white paper, so we'll have a revised white paper and put that out for everybody. And we're also going to make some modifications to our website and all that good stuff too. And then of course we'll have the Google form out there for you guys to, if you have any issues, we don't expect any, but if there is, we'll have a Google form for you guys to fill out and send to us. So where are we now? We have obviously announced the V2. We've deployed and tested on testnet, did a pre-launch audit. We're starting informative campaigns, preemptively working with CMC and CoinGecko, working with all centralized exchanges. We're putting an Excel sheet together as we speak that's going to let us track and trace all the token values for each centralized exchange so we can simultaneously shut down trading at time point 8, airdrop all the tokens, resume trading on all the exchanges and on Uniswap all at the same time. So next updates in line with what we got, informative campaign, new white paper, new website, and new videos we'll put out. So these are all things that we'll be working on over the rest of the month as well. The informative campaign starts here, and then we'll kind of go from there, the rest of that stuff. So we have some preemptive Q&A. We just kind of put some stuff together that we thought might be frequently asked questions. So we'll go ahead and address those now that we already put together. So you guys, I'm sure there are a lot of stuff on your mind. So we'll go ahead and answer some of those now that we have already put together. Do I risk losing any of my Saitama tokens? No, you will not lose any of your Saitama tokens. You will have a smaller amount, right? That's it. Since we reduced our circulating supply, nobody's going to have trillions of tokens, right? But dollar value is 1 for 1. So if you have, a trillion tokens that's worth $1,000, and we migrate to a V2, say you'll have 1 million tokens, but they're still going to be worth $1,000. So your wallet value is going to stay exactly the same, right? Your tokens will shrink. You'll have less overall tokens, but the dollar amount will stay the same, dollar for dollar.
And I would like, hi everyone, I would like to add into it is I see a lot of questions about people with cold wallet or ledger, that because the wallet token is on the blockchain, so regardless you're on a cold wallet or not, you will receive the token.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate the insight. So yeah, you guys with the ledgers, cold wallets, good. No worries. It'll migrate, airdrop simultaneously, just like you. So we're good. When do I see my new tokens? So you will see them automatically. As soon as we do the airdrop, you will see them in there, right? You'll get a notification on your wallet and you say, you receive, contract, Saitama, X amount of Saitama tokens. It'll show up in there. At the very least, right? If they don't show up, you just have to take the contract address and import it. That's all you have to do. They're in there. They're on the blockchain. So whatever wallet you use, MetaMask, Trust Wallet, Saitamask, it should show up automatically. But if it's not, just migrate the new contract address that we'll have everywhere for you guys, and they'll be on there. So again, and if they're not there, that's why we have the Google form, and we'll go through and double check, right, if we missed one. Like I said, I don't anticipate it, but if we do, that's what it's for. Do I lose money with the supply cut? Like I said, no. We're just cutting the supply. That's all it is. So if man put a little equation out there for you guys, we're cutting the supply from 100 quad to 100 billion. So this means if you have 1 trillion tokens in V1, you have 1 million tokens in V2, but they'll be worth the exact same value. Like I said, you have 1 trillion, it's worth 1,000. Now you'll have 1 million, still worth 1,000. Same dollar value. But the idea of that is as we increase our market cap, we can get into the cents, right? 1 cent, 2 cent, 20 cents, $1. This is much more in that true utility token kind of atmosphere. Because we're at 7.5 million market cap in the past, and we still had 5, 6 zeros. You know what I mean? Like that's not very lucrative. It's not very sexy. And also to kind of reiterate on that, when we have our centralized exchange and we're creating pairings, right? We're creating pairings on our centralized exchanges. Say we have an XRP or a Cardano on our centralized exchange, and you want to swap X amount of Saitama tokens for XRP. But you're going to trade like 6 trillion tokens for a couple of XRP tokens. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And also as we integrate payment systems, and we have, if you're accepting Saitama as payment, whether it be at a grocery store or the mall or wherever it is, so you're paying 10 billion tokens for a banana. Like it doesn't make, what I mean? That's kind of the whole thing, and taking us out of that true meme category and into that utility atmospheres by reducing that circulating supply. So that's kind of a quick mathematical equation for you, but it's very, very easy, right? You just drop the zeros. But if there is any further questions, we'll be talking about this much more. Well, moving to V2 cost me anything? No, like literally nothing. We have a platform that we're batching a lot of the wallets together. So when we do airdrop functions, we'll be doing blockchain calls with thousands of wallets per call. So yes, it's still going to cost money to do airdrops, but you will not accrue any of those costs. Like the development team, the deployer, like we're funding that as we normally do. So we will pay for those costs. All you literally have to do is just wait till you get the new tokens in your wallet. You don't have to, export anything. You don't have to import. Like you don't need to do literally anything except just sit back and wait, and we'll give you your tokens. We'll airdrop everybody all their tokens in one shot. Well, through multiple blockchain calls, but at the same time. What is the new contract address? So we will provide that address for you guys prior to the migration. Please, we will say this many times. You'll hear me say this 1,000 times from now until then. Do not associate with any quote-unquote V2 Saitama contract on any platform, traditionally Uniswap or any other DEX. It's not ours, right? I'm positive there'll be 1,000 Saitama V2 contracts on Uniswap between now and then. So please do not associate those. Those are not ours. We will put that out for you guys on our main channels only via our website and social medias. Anything else that you see is not ours. So again, I will emphasize this again and again and again until May 30th. Do not interact with any Saitama V2 contract that claims to be ours that is not ours, and you will lose your money. I promise you. How does it affect the V2 for exchange listings? Again, we kind of talked about that a little bit, mainly with the whitelisting, right? That's a big, and again, this is some of the feedback that we were getting, and it was an option, obviously, to go with the V1, and there's just a lot of work around. Again, like the stuff that we're doing now with Sata Pro and our centralized exchange, the V1 contract was good. Like we can use it, but it was just creating a headache, right? As we're trying to move forward with these tier 1 exchanges, like it would just be really easy if you guys had a V2, so you could control the whitelisting ability. And that's been a huge issue, even on some of these medium-sized exchanges, right? They're like, oh, we can do it, right? We'll list you, but we're going to have to increase the deposit amount. We're going to have to increase the withdrawal amount. And it's been kind of a pain in the butt. So also it gives us the ability to have some reserve tokens that we can use for liquidity on some of these major exchanges. So it's a huge thing for us. And this is going to be it's going to fast track a lot of things. How will this migration differ from other failed migrations in the DeFi space? We've seen and recognized quite a few V2 migrations, V3 migrations quite recently. And not to say that they went wrong, right? Like some of them went very smooth, but there also has been some that have had issues, and I'm sure you guys are all aware. So we, of course, proactively have done our due diligence on ones that didn't go so well and what those looked like and why they didn't go so well, and have put together a business plan and a model to make sure that our V2 migration is as seamless and as effortless as humanly possible. So this is not something that was done in 24 hours. This is not something that was done in a week. Like, we have been working on it for several weeks and continue to work on it until May 30th, when we physically migrate to the V2. But as everything we do, we try to set the standard, we raise the bar, and we try to do things effectively and efficiently as possible. So that'll be no different with this. And we've taken the time to make sure that this is done and it's done correctly. I know that there's been some things in the past that have done that haven't gone as well as we would have hoped, or have had some wrinkles. So this is a new year and a new era for us. And we've taken the last 12 months in stride. We have learned a lot from it. And as we roll into the next year for Saitama, the next 12 months, we are bringing much more. We have taken what we've done in the last year, learned from it, and now we're moving forward. And this is the first phase of that. So if you have questions and concerns, obviously I have the barcode here, or the QR, and we're going to have lots more information coming out with it, what that looks like. We'll have the Google form for the post-migration period, and there's going to be tons of information out there, right? And we're going to be talking about it from now until then. We're going to be, as transparent as we possibly can, right? And tell you guys all the steps along the way, what it looks like, where we're at, and it's going to, I'm excited. I really am. And there's a lot of things that we've been trying to do, and it seems like we hit a roadblock on a lot of things simply because of our contract and not having the ability to manipulate it and move things around and change things internally to make it functional. It was honestly, if we should have probably done a V2 last November, but as you guys know, we were having a massive run up. It was in the middle of a gigantic run. I think that if we did a V2 last November, we wouldn't have as a success as we did. We didn't know exactly what we wanted to do for the following 12 months. Our ecosystem has changed immensely since then. So I think this is realistically the perfect time. The market's a little bit obviously bearish right now. So this is a great opportunity for us to migrate to a V2 exactly the way that we want to, and just in time to catch that next leg up in the market. So, as unfortunate as the market conditions are, and the Saitama price, and a lot of the things that we've kind of endured over the last several months collectively as a community, as developers, I think it just time-wise, it works out for the best. And this is ultimately going to be a huge catalyst for us moving forward, and for you guys as well as part of this project. And we're just really excited about where it's going. So that's there's some information that you guys can get here, and we'll have lots more for you too. So a little bit of an ecosystem recap and what our V2 migration is going to look like for you guys. We'll talk about some of those things here. So our SATA chain, the blockchain that we're going to be creating, our V2 contract, our upgraded contract, is going to give us a lot more ability, or a much larger ability to kind of go through that and integrate our contract into that. It's just a huge part of what we want to do. It's a long-term projected goal, but this contract will help streamline that a little bit. So SATA Pro, as you guys will see, SATA Pro on there, not SATA Mask Pro. We did a kind of pool. We took some thought process on it, and the creative team as well. And I think that's going to be what our name of the updated app that we're going to be releasing next month will be, the SATA Pro. So there's a lot of stuff, components that will work with that. Having the V1 or the 1% liquidity will eliminate those liquidity issues on our current platform. So instead of being able to trade only a few bucks, you'll be able to trade as much as you want. It'll implement the staking factor, our play to earn, all that stuff. The centralized exchange, as I had mentioned as well, having the Saitama pair on there will have some of that liquidity, and it'll be a much smaller circulating supply. So it'll be 1-for-1 with some of those more predominant altcoins that have a valuation of a penny or 10 cents or a dollar. It doesn't look as silly, right? You're not trading 10 billion Saitama for 1 XRP. It doesn't work. So it's like a 1-for-1. It looks much more attractive and it's much more streamlined. Our SataPay, as you guys seen, our partnership and collaboration with ePay, we'll have that on there, and our smart contract will collaborate with that as well. So that's part of our ecosystem moving forward. Our edutainment platform, having the ability to potentially pay for education material, course credentials with the Saitama token that doesn't consist of billions of tokens. People have asked Sata Realty, our ecosystem token, our sister token on there. What does that look like? And people say, how does that affect it? Because it's a Saitama pair. So the circulating supply for the Sata Realty token will remain the same, but the Saitama pair will be much smaller, right? The circulating supply. So you can still swap it 1-for-1, but we'll be able to have much more liquidity added to there. You'll be swapping like 10 or 100 or 1,000 Saitama tokens for much more Sata Realty. So we will be airdropping the V2 contract tokens into the Sata Realty pair. So it'll trade just like any other token on any other decentralized platform. But it allows us to help mitigate some of the liquidity issues we have now. We have plenty of Sata Realty tokens for the LP, but the Saitama is all out of pocket, right? And then as the Saitama price goes down, so does the liquidity in there, right? So with this upgraded contract and the token value increases and the market cap increases, so will the value of the Sata Realty token. So that's a big part of that too. And as Gabe represents the Wolfcaster t-shirt, there's a lot of the play to earn games. How do we implement those pools or those pairing pools to implement earning tokens, right? Well, right now, we don't have that ability with the V1 contract. So the upgraded contract will allow pool pairings to offer those tokens and incentivize people to play those play to earn style games. So that's a huge part of the ecosystem as well. The Sata Safe are obviously our hardware wallet. Everything plays into a toll with that with our upgraded contract as well. And Fang. The whole point of our Fang platform is to have it built around a ecosystem around the Saitama token. So now with a reduced circulating supply, and we're having that 2% fee attached to it, you're having to mint it and sell and buy with an actual token with a true utility value to it instead of a meme token. So instead of spending a ridiculous amount, trillions of tokens for an NFT, you're buying it as you would a true utility token with an actual raw value to it. So it really plays a pivotal part into every single thing within our Saitama ecosystem. So it was kind of really a no-brainer, but of course, like anything we do, we have to look at everything around it. And it just made the most sense for us, right? But we also wanted to get the community involvement and make sure that when we did this proposal, it wasn't a simple tweet saying, Saitama's migrating to a V2. No, we want to give you all the details up front, what that looks like, what the thought process that went into it, and understand that this has been an ongoing thing for a while. So those that were asking, why haven't you addressed the LP issue? It's the elephant in the room. This is why. We have to make sure that we're doing our due diligence and making sure that we're making decisions that are based on the production and the growth and success, obviously, of the future of this token. So next slide. Okay, thank you, the Saitama development team. So I know it's a lot. It's a mouthful. I told you it was going to be long and grueling, but that's what it is. We put a lot of time and energy and effort to that. So thank you, Gabe and the content team and Kat and Ree and everybody else that has been working on this, and the rest of the devs have been really hustling out there and trying to get this stuff done. We've been working. I know we haven't been as active on some of other platforms, but with everything that we have going on and trying to push our pro app, our centralized exchange, our payment systems, our V2 migration now, everything, right? We've been just all working nonstop around the clock for you guys. So that's kind of our presentation for the V2. we'll be doing a lot more kind of Q&A, maybe with like some YouTube AMAs or some, Twitter Spaces just to kind of address. But luckily, we have a great team of and admins that are also fully well equipped to answer a lot of your guys' questions too. We make sure that we try to give them all the tools they need to answer questions. So if you guys know of time, they'll be on all different platforms, and they've been a huge help for our success and moving forward, and we couldn't do it without them either. So kudos and thank you to all you guys as well. What you got, Gabe? He's trying. See, Gabe's trying to give you guys little sneaks of all the artwork he's working on for Wolfcaster. So which one's coming out first, Gabe? I know you got a bunch of games. Which one are we going to put out first? Did you make up your mind yet?
Yeah, no, it's the one we haven't talked about yet. It's
the top secret one
project. Yeah, because it sounds crazy, but we're developing 3 games at the same time, and you're gonna say, why don't launch one first? But this is not how things go. Like if someone tells you that you're gonna make a game in 2 months or 3 months, that's just not the truth, or they're just copying something, and we're doing something consistent that is built to last. And there's 3 completely different games that are all part of the same ecosystem. So we'll have our own DApp where you connect with your Saitama, and all the games are connect to each other. Like you have a 3D game, you have a 2D game, the platform game which some of you I met at the Dubai Fair, had the chance to play it a little bit, like a demo version that we have. And plus we'll have a card game, which is the new one that we're developing right now, and will be an NFT-based card game, which is looking fantastic. I've been working for months without saying a word about it because it sounds crazy, but it's probably going to be the first one we launch strategically, so we gain more time to further develop the other ones and make this ecosystem stronger for the Wolfcaster franchise.
Yep, lots of stuff, man. So 3 games. I know we work on 1. How about 3? We had 3 that we're working on. So yeah. I'm excited to see some of that stuff as you can bring it out and show it to us, man. I'm excited. So, anyhow, so did you guys, MK, Nam, did you guys want to bring anything up, talk about anything while you got here before we take a couple questions?
Yeah, actually, I see still some question about like Coinbase wallets or Ledger. I just want to repeat that you guys will receive the token regardless, because it's basically the wallet still address is still on the blockchain itself. And another thing I would like to mention is, some people ask like what our price will be on the V2. So how it is we decrease by 6.0. So technically right now, for example, right now our price is 0 and 8, 0.80 and 3.9, right? So on the V2, we're looking at is with the same market cap, for example, we're looking at 0.20 and 3.9. So when we get up with the higher market cap, that the closer we get to the $1, and it's how we looking at that's the goal for our project right now is Saitama hit $1 and beyond. That's what it is.
Well, and because we also, and I know we haven't really touched on it a lot, and I did a little bit briefly, but we want to really create Saitama to be a form of payment. So as we look into some adopting financial aid and having a true payment system in other countries and having it be used for goods and merchandise, you want to have it as close to the USDT value as possible. So when our market cap increases to around that dollar value, it is essentially like a 1-for-1. So if we create an ecosystem in a financial system for different countries, and you're accepting payment and you're integrating and interacting on a financial basis in other parts of the world, how are you doing that with 1 trillion tokens? As I mentioned, are you going to go to the store and buy your groceries for 600 billion tokens? It doesn't make any sense. So you want to try and keep it as close to that dollar value as possible. So at our current market cap, as Nam mentioned, being 2 zeros and a 4, as our market cap increases, we'll start getting closer and closer to that dollar value, and that's really what we want to do. So,
no, absolutely. Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Yeah, same thing. I was trying to work on the Africa regarding what we were talking about, the use case of Saitama. When I shown them how it works, first thing they ask, how will they calculate having so many zeros? It's impossible for people who doesn't understand crypto. So more we go closer to $1, like Russell said, it's easier for the new people who doesn't want to go in crypto but who wants to use our token and Saitama's Pro to transfer the money and use as a use case. So 100% V2 was needed, and the advantages what we are getting, guys, it will show up lately, and yeah, every exchanges are looking for it. So keep the finger crossed, guys. We're gonna show some nice changes coming soon with all the things we are getting it finished. So yeah, and now I need one favor from you. A lot of people were asking about who are holding Saitama in exchanges. How can they, the exchanges can get this V2? Can you please explain, because you handle exchanges, bro?
Oh yeah. So this is another touch base. So technically, how it goes is, like I mentioned, Russell did mention it before, is we're gonna do an airdrop to the exchange. So how it is the exchange is as the mainnet wallet, the main wallet. Then they will they have a lot of wallet under the main wallet. So which is like the holders. So when the main wallet receive the token and will work with them, they will just diverse own the token with the 1-to-1 ratio. Definitely will less zero, but 1-to-1 ratio in the value to the holders. So no one in you guys on the exchange, even holder on the exchange, doesn't need to do anything to receive the new token. That will create a new pair as a Saitama V2 on the exchange.
So I saw a couple of quick questions. I'm just trying to read through. So the first one is to make the V1 tokens go away. So yeah, when we migrate to the V2, the V1 tokens will have no value. You just get rid of them. You don't need them. They may still stay in your wallet, but you can't do anything with them. You can't sell them. You can't interact with them. You just get rid of them, leave them. You can delete them, whatever you want. What was the other question I saw? I saw something else that was good. So when are we going to be doing this? On May 30th. So the LP unlocks May 30th. We'll have everything ready to go by May 30th as we're doing our pre-plan now. So on May 30th, which is actually Monday, Labor Day or Memorial Day, we also kind of worked out as well, because I think trading volume will probably be down on that day anyways, since a lot of people will be on vacation or camping or spending time with their family. So the overall market the volume will be low. So what we'll do is we'll halt trading for about 12 hours. We'll do all the migration, send everybody their tokens, send all the centralized exchanges. We'll coordinate with them so they also halt trading. And then once all the tokens are airdropped, we'll resume trading, and it'll be business as usual. So for that 12-hour window, everything will be stopped, and we'll resume right afterwards. And it'll be on that day, the May 30th, the same day that the LP unlocks. And I know I didn't talk about it before, but when we do all the airdrops and we resume trading, we'll make sure that all the centralized exchanges are functioning, make sure they got all their tokens, making sure all the airdrop tokens to the holders are good to go, everybody's accounted for. And once everybody is good, everybody has their tokens, trading is resumed, then we'll relock the V2 tokens, right? So we'll relock the liquidity, but we want to make sure first that everybody has all their tokens, that trading is normal, and everything is taken care of. And again, then we'll utilize the multi-sig function and we'll relock L2 tokens, or V2, sorry.
And another thing I see that people asking, like, what's your the migration date? So technically, we can do it like right after the day that the LP on V1 can be unlocked. So that's we're looking at end of day on May 30th and early May 31st. So that's one of the question I see a lot pop up on the chat. Just want to answer the community.
So does V2 make no? We'll still be decentralized because we're still instilling a burn mechanism. What makes a token centralized and decentralized? Well, it's still a decentralized token because we still have a burn mechanism in place. So the amount of our circulating supply will continue to burn. So we're having a smaller circulating supply now, but it's still a decentralized token to where we're burning them. So it'll get even smaller as time goes on, which will then reflectively increase the valuation. So we've been working with the deployer and obviously with our tech team and doing with the migration process for the airdrop. I think they have a couple different platforms that they're testing now. So I'll have to ask them and see which ones they're using. I know they're looking at a couple different ones. State of Pro soon. What do we got? MK, we got updates on that? We got updates on State of Pro timeline?
We'll be landing there on Wednesday. So yeah, Wednesday, Nam, Gabriel, Aaron, we'll be reaching there, and yeah, we'll send you the updates, some photos, everything, so people will know what's happening. And on Monday, I have a meeting in Dubai with ePay guys, so I can give you more updates on what the future plans they have it, so you guys can understand, because lately what we were discussing, they are putting some partnership with restaurants, supermarkets, starting with Dubai and Abu Dhabi, where you can use Saitama Pro. No, Saita Pro?
Saita Pro.
I voted, everybody asked Saitama's Pro, but other two places it went Saita Pro. So sorry, guys.
It's sexier. It rolls off the tongue.
Me and Gabriel was Saita Pro, David.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Theta 6.
We started the poll.
Theta, everything.
So they will be
the poll you saw. Oh, sorry, bro.
No,
the poll you guys saw on Twitter was actually started like a joke between me and MK, because I started a poll in the Portuguese group and Brazilian group, and then he said, I'm gonna make something bigger, and he posted on Twitter, and then it was, people started voting, but I was actually reading the comments there, and they were much more illuminating to me than just votes, and a lot of people saying, I'm gonna change my vote, like they had a second thought. And it just sounds better. I don't know. It suits our new moment now, our new cycle. Sorry for cutting you.
No, it looks better, bro. Anyway, and yeah, so that one you can use your Saitama's Saita Pro. Sorry, again, as usual. So it's like a code. You can use that one tag like a PayPal. So one is that step, and once we finish with that, after a few months, we are planning to go with the that debit card, what we promised, Saita card. So there's a lot of plans, but before that, we want the Saita Pro to work 100%, then ePay, then staking. So things will be changing in a few months. So give it by next month, hopefully we'll manage to get the beta version, because we don't want to jump and do something which we can correct. So once it's done and side by side, the audit will be start working. So everything will go with the plan. So sorry for if somebody thinks why it's a beta version, it's needed. So yeah.
So just to kind of recap, so you guys will be in India next week, meeting with the tech team, meeting with ePay, and doing them for the Centralized.
ePay is in Dubai. So Monday, Tuesday, I'll be in Dubai. I have a ePay and a few more meeting, but unfortunately today there was a news of death of honorable ex-president. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is off. So I was trying to cancel my ticket, but they told me you come over. We'll come to your hotel, and still we can open the office and we can have a meeting there. So it's nice of them. So yeah, we'll have a meeting on Monday, Tuesday. Then Tuesday night, we are traveling to Delhi to another place, which is 5 hours drive. So we'll be there on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday we'll be back.
Okay. So yeah, you guys will be in India next week, setting up all that stuff. So time frame wise, as you guys mentioned, we got Saita Pro, looking to launch kind of the beta version next month. And with that, the ePay system and the staking mechanism, somebody to ask about Lucky Roo. Lucky Roo will be on the Saita Pro version as well. Yeah. But the idea is, of course, right now to focus on the V2 migration. So we have, all kinds of things working all at the same time. But as it goes chronologically, obviously the V2 migration comes first at the end of this month, and then roll out, the Saita Pro mechanism, and then the audit and beta, and then the gaming and the ePay and staking and all these other exclusive tokens. And then also at the same time rolling out our centralized exchange while working on everything else that we're doing, right? So it's nonstop all the time, a million things that we're always working on. So everybody's clearly in a million different places, but collectively we're all together working on all these different functionalities and building them out. So, but chronologically, of course, B2 coming first, and then Sata Pro next month with all the other stuff. So,
and one more thing, it's I forgot about the exchange in India. The name has been decided, but we are going with the trademark, everything. So first week or something, we'll announce the name of the exchange in India.
There we go. So first week of June, we'll give you guys the name of our centralized exchange that we're going to have trademarked and start rolling out with that too. So big stuff coming for June. It's going to be exciting. And honestly, I'm hoping that June timeframe, we start hitting in some favorable market conditions. And I think we can really, we'll have our B2 out at the end of the month. B2 will be fire, and we'll have all this stuff rolling out, and we can just ride this bad boy to the moon. So B2 will be launched exclusively on Saitama out the gate, or we'll trade on Uniswap. No, so it'll be Uniswap, right? So we'll migrate the B2 on Uniswap because we can't remove any liquidity from Uniswap because that's where it originated from, and that's where a majority of the holders like purchase and transact through. But the idea of instilling a 1% liquidity rate on there is to provide liquidity on Saitama currently, and as well on Sata Pro when we launch it. So we can the tokens that we have right now on Saitama will act as an actual wallet. So when we do airdrops, we will, it's a decentralized platform. So we will take V2 tokens and airdrop them to the smart contract wallet addresses on Saitama. So wherever tokens live right now, they will get the V2 version. You're essentially just mimicking the same dollar value, right? Not the total token amount because we're reducing the supply, but we're, if there's $20,000 in liquidity in Saitama tokens right now, that's exactly how much tokens they'll get in V2. And same with all the centralized exchange, hot wallets, and Uniswap and everything else. It's going to be a mirror image of dollar value. It's just the token circulating, the total amount of circulating supply will be smaller, of course. So someone's mentioned about a whale tax. So yeah, we're looking at that right now, and there is the whale tax on V1, but it's set at such a high amount that it doesn't really kick in. So when it was launched, I don't know the exact amount, but it's you can't buy or sell more than like 150 trillion. But back when we launched, you could buy 150 trillion Saitama tokens on V1 for a couple $100, like 500. So that's something that we're looking at right now on the V2 contract. If we want to initiate some sort of tax on there or a buy-sell limit, but it's not stop. It won't stop anybody, right? If we do a buy-sell limit or a tax, they just create multiple wallets. There's always workarounds, right? That's kind of the beauty and the Achilles heel of crypto is you can always find a path around it. But yeah, we are looking at instilling some sort of whale tax or a max buy-sell. So. Sata Desktop, yeah. So that's on the Sata Pro app, right? So we have some other stuff that we're working on the Saitama with the desktop and the Dex Tools reader, and a lot of the stuff that we were currently in the UI and API phase, rolling it out onto the Sata Pro version. That way, we're not integrating the API into our current version and then migrating it again in a couple of weeks or next month. It's a lot of work that's really unnecessary, right? So. Why work harder when you can work smarter? Tokenomics for buys, sells, and staking. So it'll be for all interactions on the blockchain. So anytime you interact on the blockchain, that tax is going to kick in. So if you're sending tokens from one wallet to another, transferring, buying, selling, etc., if you are interacting with the blockchain, that's when that tax kicks in. It's automatic, right? So the only time it doesn't, if you import your wallet somewhere else. You're obviously not interacting with the blockchain. You're just opening up a new portal somewhere else. So, and CMC, we didn't talk about this. So I just saw that. This is a huge part of V2 as well. So, as you guys know, our ranking on CoinMarketCap has been off for 12 months. And the reason why that is because CMC cannot track our burn mechanism. It can't track our current circulating supply because it's ever changing. So with our current V1 conditions and our tokenomics and the way that the coin is structured right now, if we apply for CoinMarketCap to update our ranking, we send them how many tokens we have in our burn wallet, how many we have in circulating supply, all that information. By the time they get it and look at it, those numbers are different because every single transaction that occurs on the blockchain changes the number of tokens that sit inside the burn wallet. So to remedy that with our V2 contract, every mechanism within the burn get sent to a burn wallet, not the core burn wallet, but it'll be an alternate burn wallet that we will create, and it'll be called like the Saitama burn wallet. So it won't be a private wallet, won't be anything like that. It'll be a multi-sig wallet that is named Saitama burn wallet, and every single transaction, that percentage of burn will go directly to that wallet, but not to the burn mechanism wallet. So CMC can finally upgrade or update our current ranking, and then we will hold events, and once a month, once every 2 months, we'll do events, right? Everybody loves burn events. So once that wallet hits a certain amount, we'll do an event, right? We're like, hey, Saitama's going to do a burn event this Friday. We're going to burn, however many million tokens, however much have accumulated over the last 4 to 6 weeks. We'll do an event and we'll send all those tokens to the actual burn wallet, because every time we do that, we have to send notification to CMC to let them know that our burn wallet is increasing in value, so they can update our current ranking structure. Right? So everything is very much a thought process involved, and that's something that we can finally navigate around to get our current rank updated with this mechanism put in place. So it's something that we had to do in order for us to finally get recognized in the proper ranking structure that we should have been all along. It was just impossible for them to validate the way that our current contract was set up. So, I mean, they probably can, but it would be, it's just too difficult for them to do, to be able to track each time. They can't validate it because it's ever changing. So this remedies that, and we can finally be structured and ranked the way that we should be. So, which is also a huge part. What happens to the Sata Realty tokens since they are Saitama V1? It's the same. It's just the pairing pool. So the Sata Realty token, the circulating supply does not change. It's the same. The only pair there is the current Saitama pair. So what we'll do is airdrop the liquidity for Saitama and put them in the V2 margin. So instead of being 1 trillion Saitama tokens get you 6 trillion Sata Realty, it'll be like 1 million Saitama tokens get you 6 trillion Sata Realty, right? It's the exact same functionality. It's just a different contract with the pairing pool. We stopped trading on Sata Realty during the whole V2. Yeah. So we're going to stop trading on every platform. We'll stop trading on Satamask. We'll stop trading on Uniswap. We're going to coordinate it with all the centralized exchanges, so they stop trading. We're going to stop trading everywhere, because what we need to do is, once we halt trading for that 12-hour period, we have to take a snapshot of all the wallet amounts and the addresses. That way we know exactly how much to airdrop to each individual holder. And the only way to really truly do that is to completely halt trading, so those numbers don't change. So if you don't do it that way, people can try to manipulate it somehow, and that it doesn't work. So that the best way to do it is just completely halt trading on all platforms, then get an accurate snapshot of the total token value of each wallet, and then take that value and migrate to V2 and airdrop every single one. And yeah, so implementing that 1% liquidity valuation into our current tokenomics will help tremendously in balancing out some of the liquidity issues that we now see. Will the V2 tokens be deflection? Yeah, so everybody, everybody's still going to get reflections and tokens. We're still burning tokens. The only thing that we're adding is 1% for liquidity and 1.75% for project development. That's it. So some of the centralized exchanges that do not offer reflections now can more than likely initiate that process and give reflections, because we can whitelist them. So, which is also a huge bonus for everybody. Yeah, everybody will get Coinbase, everybody that's holding Saitama tokens on any platform it all goes through the blockchain. So everybody's wallet lives on the blockchain. It doesn't really matter what platform you hold them on. As long as it's visible on the blockchain, which it has to be, you'll get your tokens. Because we don't go to Coinbase or we don't go to MetaMask or Trust Wallet and get snapshots of each individual platform. We just gather all the data from the blockchain and then disperse those tokens. How soon after migration can we see tier 1 exchanges? I don't know. I can't put a timestamp on it. I have no idea, but it'll definitely speed up the process. Will Saitama Pro have same pools or separate? No, it'll be the same. Everything's the same, honestly. It's just a reduced circulating supply. And it has the advantages with the smart contract and the tokenomics attached to it. But all that stays the same. The pools stay the same. The pairing stays, well, we have to create a different pair because it's a new smart contract, but the pools will be the same. The pairings are the same. Everything remains the same. Okay, so let's do one more if you can find a good one, or if we have somebody that has a question, we'll do like one more, and then we'll kind of close down. It's already been over an hour, and it's kind of run long, but we are going to do more. So see if I can find one here. So tokenomics for the airdrop? No, that is a good question. So we'll kind of leave it at that. So with the airdrop, no, you're not going to get hit with the tokenomics. So if you have, I don't know, we'll just use a very rough estimate number. If you have 100 tokens right now, when we do the airdrop, you're going to get 100 tokens. You're not going to get 95. Okay? You're going to get the same amount. You only lose the tokenomics when you interact with the blockchain on that, right? So we can whitelist the deployer wallet, obviously. And since the tokens are coming from the deployer wallet via airdrop, it'll be a whitelisted wallet, so it won't have to get hit with that tax. So those are good to go. The only time tokenomics take effect is when you're interacting, buying, selling, or trading. That's the only time. But now the centralized exchanges can be whitelisted and hopefully integrate tokenomics on the current platforms, and having a smaller circulating supply and whitelisting and doing all the things that we're integrating into the V2, we can adapt and overcome to some of the recommendations put forth by us by some of the tier 1 exchanges, and we can accelerate the process and do all the wonderful things that we want to do. So as I mentioned before, this is really the beginning of something great, and we've had some hurdles over the last 12 months, and like I said, we've definitely learned from them. We've accomplished a lot. We've done a lot of great things, tremendous things. We've done a lot of things that nobody else has really done in the space, and we continue to push the envelope. But we learned from a lot of it too, right? We learned from mistakes. We've learned from some things that have set us back in the past, and we've grown from it. As individuals, as a community, as a business, I think we've really matured over the last 12 months. And this is really kind of a stepping stone for us to push forward to the year in front of us and all the things that we want to achieve. So we're excited. We're excited. Finally, something we can put forward and start getting some positive traction and some momentum in the space. I think that's very important, right? It's not starting from scratch whatsoever. It's just the beginning of a new era, right? A dawn of a new era. That's all it is. So I appreciate you guys coming on. Do you guys have anything else for everybody? Are you good?
No, all good, man.
Good.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, awesome. Well, we didn't get to see Nam in the minivan, but maybe next time.
Next time.
We're going to have to get a minivan shot at some point. So
in India.
Yeah. We have this channel, obviously, that we've had for a while. We want to start putting some more content on here for everybody. So subscribe and all that stuff and set your notifications so you can be updated. Because we are going to be having some updates on some things as we get closer to the V2 migration. We'll probably do some more AMAs and putting stuff out on our social medias. And we have, as mentioned, a tremendous support system for moderators and administrators that have really, really been kind of the backbone for getting information out to everybody. So we rely on them heavily, and we appreciate all you guys and the community members out there too, not even mods and admins, just vocal advocates for Saitama, that's spreading awareness and education. So we appreciate all you guys. But yeah, thanks for coming out, back to work. Lots to do still, but you guys got the update and hopefully some peace of mind, and hopefully we answered a lot of questions. I'm sure there'll be more, and we will definitely be answering those over the course of the next couple of weeks and the time from there on. But we look forward to it, and we're excited. So appreciate it. Thanks for coming out, guys. There you go. Questions, concerns?
See you then.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, y'all. So you heard what Russ said. I don't know how you guys are feeling this situation. I was paying attention, also getting myself drilled during that process, but it was definitely some interesting information. How you guys feel about it? We will dig deeper into it tonight, but how you guys feeling about the Saitama V2? I kind of felt like it was going to be a V2. I felt like that was really like the last source. As you can see, there was more pros and cons on there as far as their list. But like I said, a lot of the meat and potatoes we'll go over tonight. I won't hold you guys up too much. As you can see, they have definitely been drilling your boy during this process. But yeah, let me know how you guys are feeling about that news, man. And like I said, I'll probably close it out within the last like 5-10 minutes, chop it up with you guys for a little bit, and then get on out of here. So. Oh shit! I don't even know what that is, boy. I'm probably gonna die. Oh, okay, it's like a little airstrike. It's always your own people, man. I can't never live. Yeah, drill won't. Next chapter of Saitama. I feel the same way. That last game's kind of fluky. Nervous. I'm scared when Saitama attempts it. Yeah, I mean, everything has been a little bit wacky nowadays. It seems like they have more of a structured plan and layout. I hope it works out the way that they said it's going to work out. So we're just waiting to see how this is going to pan out. So, like I said, I don't know how you guys feel about the plan. I am excited as far as the V2 portion. I did feel like they were going to cut supply. I think I said that in one of my live streams that they were going to cut the supply down. So that's something that the larger exchanges I feel like are going to be looking at. So not bad at all. So I just want to see what all good changes will be made. I'm excited, but sitting on the edge too. Okay, man. Like I said, man, there's a couple different scenarios that can be going on here, so you never know. You never know. I'm hoping for the best within this, just because I feel like Saitama did try to structure a plan out. Hopefully, it does go the way they're trying to go. Supply cut and burn still active. Love it. Yeah. So that's another thing out there. Reflections are still active. They're going to be whitelisting wallets for the exchanges. Hopefully, they do get to launch on the exchanges all at the same time. If it goes that way, let me actually look at what the chart's looking like right now currently. So it looks like the chart is reflecting positively. If you guys look at that. When is the migration? Definitely not tonight. So I believe it's when the liquidity actually unlocks. That's when the migration is going to be. Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a good thing. I'm just falling out of the sky. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good thing. It's going to be solid. I definitely want to see how it pans out at first. I feel like there are going to be some sales at first, but as you can see, we're breaking that first resistance level that it kind of put up after the first downfall there, kind of transitioning back up. Hopefully it regains that zero with all of this buying pressure that it's got right now. What's the volume at right now? So I can see what it's going to be at tonight. As you guys know, we'll be live 9 p.m. Central Time, guys. So we're at 3.3 million as far as the volume today. Not too shabby, not too bad at all. So definitely looking up right this second. We'll see how this does transition. Sorry about that. Had to address the kids as usual. You guys already know it's like 3,000 kids here. No, I'm just playing. It's only 4 current. Well, actually, nope. We're short 2 today. So 2 in the building right this second. Saitama's up 76%, which is outrageous for what they actually went down. So I think this is the highest point that it's been since it did downtrend all the way down to almost regaining another 0. So it did not regain the 0 though. So too much time for stupid people to panic. Yeah, well, I don't know. Right now, it seems to be uptrending. People seem to be trying to get in position so that when they get their airdrops, they can, you know what I mean, benefit the maximum from the V2. Most people are. I think even that it's going to be a significant amount of volume. Saitama has always had a lot of eyes on it, so I do see people going for the relaunch. The V2 is going to be a hot ticket. People are going to be trying to make V2 contracts that are not Saitama so that they can actually make some money on it. So other than that, it's pretty solid. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I feel like it should be able to retain itself with the new contract that they have. So Adam will be here tonight. Okay, that's what's up. That's what I like to hear. So I'm probably gonna head out now, guys, and I'll probably still be on Twitch for a little bit, but I'm gonna head out right this second, and I will be back on later tonight, guys. We'll check and see where Saitama is as far as the daily volume and the chart. But as you guys can see right this second, we are looking at 4270, 8 zeros right now. So hopefully it does transition a little bit, guys. What's going on, Philip? And I appreciate that, man. See you guys later, guys. And you guys keep cuffing that dip. And remember that this is definitely Beyond Crypto, guys. I'm out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening, morning, wherever you guys are at.